Hey everyone, you've made it to 1.10, the very last lesson in our Raisin in the Sun unit. We've read the whole play, we've seen how the younger family faces challenges and overcomes, or at least survives them. And now it's time to look towards our summative assignment. In 1.10, we're going to start planning for your summative by outlining and drafting the paragraphs that you will write for your summative. You'll be looking at one character from the play and analyzing a symbol that's connected with them, just like you've been doing throughout the packet. So, our essay prompt, and it's not really a full essay, just two paragraphs, is how does the author use symbolism and characterization to make a point about dreaming for a better future? You're going to write about one of the main characters in A Raise in the Sun and a dream the character has, how the character overcomes obstacles to that dream, and finally, how a symbol connects to that dream. You can choose any one of the four main characters. That's Ruth, Walter Lee, Lena or Mama, and Benitha. So we're going to do a quick review of a few of them. Ruth, we know she's in her early 30s. She's Walter's wife and Travis's mom, and she's the practical one. She keeps the household running, is often ironing and cleaning, trying to hold things together. She is first introduced on the bottom of page 27, and we can see some examples of her dream on pages 87 to 89. Some options for symbols you can look at for her: page 75, page 87, page 94. If you're interested in Ruth, explore some of the moments you remember most about her, see what you can find. Next is Walter. Walter is in his mid 30s. He is, or at least likes to think of himself as, the man of the house, and he works as a chauffeur, although he is not satisfied with that job. He's Ruth's husband, Travis's father, and Benitha's brother. He's first introduced on page 25. For his dream, you can find some good examples on pages 33, 42, 73, and 95. There are multiple symbols that could work for him: the check, money, other things as well, the liquor store itself. Think about pages 26, 41, 70, and 74. Next up is Mama. Mama is in her early 60s. She's described as full bodied and strong. She is the mom to Walter and Benitha and the grandmother of Travis. You can see her dream most clearly on 44 through 46. One symbol we've talked about her with her in the past is the plant, which you can see on pages 39, 40, and 52. But that's definitely not the only option for Mama. There's many other places you can look as well. And finally, Benitha. She's about 20 years old, Walter Lee's younger sister. She's in college and is working towards medical school, and she's first introduced on page 35. We can find quotes about her dream on pages 36, 50, 66 through 67, and 76. There's a number of options for symbols connected to her. Some that we've talked about are her hair, the robes she wears, medical school itself, lots of possibilities. So in your packet, we have a sample done with Asagai, who is not one of the main characters and not one of the people you can choose for your essay, but you can see our three pieces. First, we're listing basic information about him. Who is he? What's he like? What do we know about him? Okay, he's from Nigeria, but he's been in Canada. He's a student. He's dramatic looking. All that basic info. Then we can take some notes on his dream and how he's fighting for it. Asagai wants progress in Africa, but some of the obstacles he faces are the history of Africa, especially with colonialism, doubt, and the fact that he's only one person. There's an example of a quote as well that helps show what his dream is. He wants to help his village in particular become better, get farther, become more literate, less disease, less ignorance. And then finally, a symbol connected to Asagai. In his case, there is the symbol of a line that goes on and on into infinity, which represents progress. Progress is always advancing. Change will come even if we can't see it, because that line just stretches out past where we can see. So you're going to be doing the same thing with your chosen character, and we're going to walk you through it in these next slides. Your first stages are going to be the early brainstorming. First of all, which character will you write about? Mama, Ruth, Walter Lee, or Beneatha? All four are great options. There's plenty to write about with each one. So choose your favorite or the one that you feel like you'd have the most interesting things to talk about with them. The next piece is why you chose that character. What do you like about them or dislike about them? What is interesting about them? What drew you to them? Next, what is their dream? You can, of course, use your play to find your own example. There's also a document in Schoology called Good Quotes that will give you some starter options for each character. So you'll want to copy out a quote and make sure to write down the page number so that you can find it again. Our next piece is why is this their dream? Use the book or your reading questions in our sections that were about the play 1.2, 1.4, 1.6, 1.7, and 1.9 are particularly good places to look. Our next piece is how does the character work for their dream? Do they change the way they try to achieve it? Do they lose hope? Do they change the dream itself? For this, you won't look at just one moment. Instead, look at how the character is at the beginning, Act 1 of the play, versus towards the end of Act 2. How have they started to change? Number 6 is going to continue this even further, looking at the final act of the play, Act 3. How has the character changed by the end? What happens to them and their dream? Have they achieved their dream? Have they given up on their dream? Have they changed what they think about it? Where do they end up at the end of their story? For number 7, you're going to pick a symbol connected to the character and their dream. And what does the symbol represent to them? So you'll be picking one. Again, you can use a quote from the play, or you can find one from the Good Quotes document. If you're having trouble thinking of a symbol, you can look back at 1.3 and 1.4 in the packet. Both of those had some questions about symbolism. And of course, you can check in with your teachers and we can help you out. Our last pieces will be your argument. What are you going to say about the character and their symbol? So, number 8, you're saying, how does this symbol connect with the character, their dream, and or how they work for their dream? Be sure to be specific. Use details from the play. What does the character do or say about this symbol? How does it come up for them? What does it seem to mean for them? And then finally, once you've gathered all that information, step 8 will be drafting a thesis statement. Your thesis is the main argument that you'll be making in your paragraphs. There's a sentence frame on the left there that you are welcome to use. In A Raisin in the Sun, the character's dream is what is their dream? And Lorraine Hansberry uses the symbol of whatever symbol you're using to represent whatever it represents. So if we were applying this to our Asagai example, we could say, in A Raisin in the Sun, Asagai's dream is to bring progress to Africa, and Lorraine Hansberry uses the symbol of a geometric line into infinity to represent how progress never ends for an idealist. If you don't like that particular sentence frame, you don't have to use it, but make sure that your thesis includes all key parts. Which character are you talking about? What is their dream? What is the symbol that connects them? And what does the symbol represent? So start brainstorming. Think about which character is most interesting to you. Think about what you can say about them. Use everything that you've learned over the past 5 or 6 weeks as we've looked at A Raisin in the Sun. I'm looking forward to seeing what you come up with.